What's up, YouTube? Thanks for stopping by. I am the Average Doomsday Prepping Dude. I hope everyone is staying safe with the coronavirus pandemic, around the world. I live in California. We have stay-at-home orders from our lovely governor. So our USPSA matches have been canceled for the most part and haven't been able to get out of the house too much. So I took this time to order some parts from Ben Stoker's Pro Shop to get some parts for my Tanfoglio Stock 2. Haven't been shooting a lot of production much. I've been shooting limited with my CZ Tac Sport a lot more. But once, USP matches get going again, I want to start shooting production again along with my 92A1. So I've had this gun for a while. I haven't actually done a lot of work to it. I've actually put in the extreme trigger, extended firing pin, some lighter springs, but there were some other parts I didn't get that I actually just recently ordered, and that is the extreme hammer, as well as the Patriot Defense Bolo interrupter. So I wanted to see if that changes the reset and the action a little bit better on the stock 2s, because Tanfoglios, for the most part, stock, their triggers are pretty bad. So, you got to do some work to these things to make them really good, but it already shoots really nice as it is. I just wanted to see if I can get it shooting better. So let's dive into that right now and see how it goes. All right, so here's all the parts. We got the Delta hammer from Tanfoglio. It's their extreme line. We got the Bolo interrupter. Hopefully this will improve the reset of the, the single action. I ordered an extra hammer strut as well as an extra hammer pin because I don't want to have to take apart the whole hammer assembly inside the Tanfoglio. If you've ever taken a CZ75 apart or Tanfoglio, you kind of know that the hammers, interrupters, and everything are all kind of one piece. So I just figured I'd assemble a whole new one and dropped it in to make life easier. So let's go over the tools we need right now, and then we'll get started. All right, so here's all the tools we're going to need before we get started. We're going to need some kind of bench block, a hammer, as well as a small flathead jewelry screwdriver. I have a 3/32 inch punch that has a little nub at the end that allows me to sit it inside the roll pin, and that way it won't slip when I'm punching things. You will need some small needle-nose pliers, and I also have a magnetic parts cup holder thing that will store all my spare parts so they don't get lost. So I've already gone ahead and taken everything out of the package. You can see the hammer strut, the hammer pin, the Bolo interrupter, and the Bolo interrupter pin. You can see why I ordered a new hammer strut and a pin, because basically I can assemble the whole hammer assembly and drop that in once I take the new one out versus having to knock out pins. And I think it's a roll pin that has, that's flared on the edge. So that may require a little bit more work. And I know this part was $4 and this part was $4 or something like that. For an extra $8, it saves me the hassle of trying to take something out and possibly, destroying it or ruining it. So let's get started on how to assemble this and dive right in. All right, so to get started, I'm going to take my hammer, my hammer strut pin. I'm going to be hammering that pin into this hole here, halfway, and then I'm going to put the hammer strut in. The Bolo interrupter actually goes into that hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle-nose pliers and just hold it like so, right in the middle. And then hold that tight while I hammer this down. Actually, better to be hold like that. That way it doesn't move around too much. And just start whacking this until it goes in. Oh, it's already. Once we have it started, yep, I can see it started. Good. I want to straighten it out. Okay, let's see if I can actually get the pin in, or the strut in. So the strut, like this, is going to be like that. So actually I think I'm going to put this on my bench block now. Like that. Hold everything into place. On a harder surface. My mat is not hard enough. Kind of feel it catching. Good. Just go slow. Good, it's actually in there now. Good. Okay, now that we have that most of the way in. I'm going to grab my punch. And I think my mat's too rubbery, too soft. Yeah, I like it on a harder surface. Let's do it on that. Okay. I'm doing it like this so that way I can stick my finger down there so it doesn't move around. Alright, now we have our hammer strut in, and it's flush, almost flush on both sides. So let's knock this back. And again, this is why having the nub to seat into the roll pin is actually quite nice. So we're going to put that aside. And then for the Bolo interrupter, this just goes in there, and this just slides into place. Doesn't need any hammering or anything, which is really nice. So, whoops. And then if you do that, the pin falls through like that. That's how nice this is. My hands are too big. Ha. Okay. So we have the whole assembly put together. So now let's take apart the Tanfoglio and we can drop this in. So I'm going to put this in the magnetic parts cup. You see the pins there. Doesn't make a difference. We're going to get our Tanfoglio and put this in. Alright, so now that we've gotten the whole hammer assembly put together, we need to take apart the stock too and take the hammer assembly out. So let's go do that right now. I'm going to pull this out, take the sled off, we don't need this. Okay, so you're going to need your jewelry screwdriver. There's a spring there that you're going to have to lift up. As you're lifting up, you're going to use your left thumb to push the safety out. So you're going to get under the spring like so. Once you feel it lifting up, get that pushed out. Now, be careful. You don't just want to pull the safety out because otherwise the sear assembly is just going to go flying out. So I usually put my thumb right on top and then I'll pull this straight out. Put that aside and then my sear assembly can come out. Okay, so now there are two pins retaining the hammer assembly. There is this pin here, which then retains the hammer pin there. This retaining pin actually loads from the top, so you can just flip this over, and this will come straight out, falls out, put it in your pin, or your magnetic parts cup. Now, you're going to want to kind of pull this back, and be careful, this is under spring tension. And then this comes out. So I'm going to put my hammer pin aside. I'm going to take my old hammer assembly out. Put my new one in with the pin. So this is going to be kind of tricky. Let me get the Bolo interrupter back in because the pin just slides out like so. Okay, well, all right. Now that we've got the whole stock 2 taken apart, you'll notice that the hammer spring sits into the frame at the top like so. You'll actually notice how much shorter this is than a CZ hammer spring. That's because it does not sit at the bottom of the frame. It doesn't load from the bottom. It loads from the top. So that's going to go right back into that hole right in there. Then I'm going to take my whole hammer assembly, put the pin back in for the Bolo interrupter. And I'm actually going to hold it like so. I'm going to put the hammer strut here into the spring. I'm going to be holding the pin for the Bolo interrupter in place. This thing is not moving. Okay, there we go. Like this. I'm going to just drop it in like so. Now you're going to have to put downward pressure onto the hammer assembly while you grab the hammer pin. And that's going to actually be, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be difficult. So you're going to have to push straight down on the hammer assembly. Once you have it down, kind of down, you'll see that the hole is not lining up. So I'm just going to get the pin ready to go. Kind of jam that in, wiggle around. Oh, and then the hammer pin is now in. It's not all the way in. You can actually see from this side. It will kind of, you kind of have to line it up to the other side of this hole. So looking at it from this way, I'm pushing with my finger and kind of wiggling it around so I could see the pin coming into place. And actually, I feel it moving. I think I felt it moving. There we go. There we go. All right. Now that pin is in. So then we're going to take the other small pin that holds this in place with our needle nose pliers. Grab it like so. I'm just going to put it in as a hole back there. Just drop this in. Or try to drop it in on camera. There we go. There we go. Right, now it's in. So now I can put the slide. Oops. Haha. I gotta put the sear back in. Sear and safety. Getting a little ahead of myself. Sear. I'm gonna hold down. It's under spring tension, so I gotta hold the hammer back and the sear down. I'm gonna grab the safety and push that in. It's not gonna go in unless you get the spring here up. Once it's oops, don't stab yourself like I just did. There we go. Then it'll move into place, and you kind of have to pull it back and kind of wiggle it. It'll go in. Then we can function test everything. And now that actually feels really good. All right, so that's how you put in the Delta hammer and the Bolo interrupter into your Tanfoglio Stock 2. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by, and be sure to stay safe with the coronavirus pandemic going on, and I'll see you next time.